Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is BookList Thursday, and BookList Thursday is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book thoughts, ideas, something bookish related. So today's, theme is just your classic, good old book recommendations. And we are going to talk about books that are set in space. I at first was thinking I was going to have a bit of a hard time thinking of books set in space. I'm not a huge sci-fi reader. I could think of a couple, and then I was like, oh man, what else are we going to do? But surprisingly, I've read a fair amount. So first one I want to talk about is The Martian by Andy Weir, I'm pretty sure. It's right here. Loved this book. This book has a fantastic first line. The humor in this book, it follows Mark Watney, and you would think a book basically narrated and told from one person's perspective as they're stuck on Mars would kind of be a little boring, but it is not. He is so funny. But he gets left behind on Mars. They think he's dead, so they leave. He's not dead. He has to somehow survive, I think almost 2 years by himself with very limited provisions, trying to contact Earth. It is so good. I read that so fast, and my husband read it and loved it, and the movie is just as great. Matt Damon is in it. Highly suggest. It is fantastic. Love, love, love The Martian. The next one, I feel like I've been talking about this book a lot lately, but we're gonna go with it. This one takes place more in cyberspace, so I'm gonna take a little bit of liberty with it, but it is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This follows Wayne Watts as he is on a quest to find the, how do I explain this? So the owner of the Oasis, which is this virtual reality world that most people live in because real life sucks so bad. The person who created the Oasis has died and left his inheritance to somebody who can follow all these clues and these Easter eggs to find it. And so Wayne Watts goes on this quest to find it, and it's so good. Another great book that I didn't think I would like as much as I did, but it was awesome. So that's my only creative liberty with being in space. The rest are really set in space. Next one I have is Cinder. Actually, the entire Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Mars. Cinder isn't quite as much in space as are the rest of the books as they get into it. But this is their, fairy tale retelling. So this is kind of a retelling of Cinderella, but she's a cyborg. So she's half robot, half human, and you get into her world and kind of where she came from and what's happening in our world. This is set in the future, and again, Earth isn't a great place at that time, and kind of what happens to Cinder, the quest or adventure she goes on, and it is fantastic. So there's Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Winter, and then Ferris is a novella that goes along with it. Oh, and Stars Above, which I haven't read. I should finish that. But the Lunar Chronicles, another really great series, and it is YA. I'm trying to actually talk my daughter into picking this up. I'm thinking she would really like it. Just haven't been successful with that yet. I'm gonna keep trying though. Don't worry. Next book I want to talk about that I read is Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly. This, isn't totally set in space, but it revolves around getting people into space. So it's a nonfiction book that follows the true story of NASA's African-American female mathematicians who played a very vital role in getting the Americans into space for the first time to orbit the Earth, I think, and even to eventually get on the moon. So this was also made into a movie. That's fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I gave this 3.5 stars. It is a nonfiction. It's not quite a nonfiction that reads like a fiction. There are some details that I think get a little too detailed. I think it makes a really great audiobook. But I really enjoyed following the story of these 3 women and what they went to, because you're right in the midst of the civil rights era. How they're treated, yet they're so relied upon within NASA that they're just not given the credit that they deserve. It was a fantastic book. I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely worth picking up. So then along those same lines, another book that I read, and I actually read it quite a while ago when I like very first got my Kindle or my tablet and was reading ebooks. I read the Astronaut Wives Club by Lily Koppel. This is another nonfiction, again, another still very good book, just a little slow in parts of it, but it follows the wives of the 7 astronauts who were launched into space. So I'm trying to find the name. I don't have all of the names of them. But Life magazine actually followed these women around for quite a while and did a whole entire like piece on them. They were, and just kind of seeing from their point of view as their husbands did something that no one has ever done before that was very risky yet very exciting and brave. They were kind of forced into being this group, these 7 women, and I don't think under normal circumstances that they would have ever really kind of gotten together. So they're very different. And what expectations were for them. NASA had expectations for them. It was a really, really interesting read. Another one that I would suggest as well. So those were kind of my 2 nonfictions. I guess maybe not technically set in space, but has something to do with space. So we're going to go with it. And then the last one that I want to talk about is another, I think it's YA, but we have the Illuminae File. So I have Illuminae, and then Gemina is the middle book, and then Obsidio is the last one. It is a trilogy. This is by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And the way this is written, it's like it is like a case file. Very unique. Loved this book. It takes place in space. This basically other planet is attacked, and these people have to escape, and they're being pursued by another spaceship. Oh my God, it is fantastic. I heard the audiobooks are just as great. I've only read them because I really do enjoy reading them, and yeah, they're huge, but you get through them so quickly. So I've read Illuminae, I've read Gemina, and now I still have to read Obsidio, which I'm hoping to get to before the end of the year. But I mean, just look, it's so uniquely written, and you wouldn't think it would flow like a story, but it really does. They're fantastic, and I can't believe that I like them as much as I do, but I love them. Love them. That's not me. The last book I want to talk about, I have not read yet, but I've already talked about this author. So it is called Artemis by Andy Weir. Andy Weir wrote The Martian. So Artemis takes place on the moon. So that's super interesting. And you follow our main character, Jasmine. She likes to be called Jazz. She is just trying to get herself out of the spot that she's in. She's kind of a small town criminal, but she needs a little bit more money, just a little leg up, so she's just a little bit better. So she takes on this challenge. It's a little bit more intense than just her little small time crime she's been doing, because she's hoping she makes enough to kind of just get out of the situation she's in. Little does she know that it is a little bit more intense than she expected, and consequences are a little bit more severe than she expected. So now she's in a part where she needs to try to get herself out of it, save her city, save herself, and do it all flawlessly, basically. Super interesting. I love the little paragraph at the bottom says it's propelled by its heroine's wisecracking voice, which, yes, give me a sarcastic wisecracking character. I will love it. Set in a city that's at once stunningly imagined and intimately familiar, and brimming over with clever problem solving and heisty fun. So, very interested in this, especially after how much I love The Martian. I'm really interested to see what more Andy Weir has. I haven't heard a whole lot about Artemis, so if you have, let me know in comments below what you thought of it. But that's the one space set book that I haven't read. Well, besides Obsidio, I guess, as well. So there's 2. Anyways, those are my books that are set in space. Don't forget to head over to Sarah's channel and see what books she has picked for today. If you're interested in any of these, there's a link below. You can go and check them out. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you next time. Bye.